Today we're going to talk about some basic English words that you need to know to talk about your career. The first word is employee. An employee is someone who works for a person or company and receives money for that work. The person or company who they work for is called their employer. And there is the verb employ, which means to give someone a job and pay them for their work. For example, employers employ employees. Or, this company employs more than 200 people. If a company wants new employees, they need to hire them. To hire someone basically means to begin to employ them, or to give them a job. If an employer hires you, you can say that you have been hired. For example, I've just gotten hired by a software company. You can also say that you have gotten a job. For example, I got the job that I applied for last week. When an employer hires you, they usually have specific work or specific tasks that they want you to do. For example, you might be hired as a secretary, a human resources officer, or a cashier. In informal conversation, we usually just call this your job. But within a company and in more formal language, we usually call it a position. After you have been working at your company for a while, your boss might decide that they want to give you another position that has more responsibility. This is called a promotion. When this happens, you can say that you were promoted, or that you got or received a promotion. After working there for 2 years, she was promoted to assistant front office manager. Or she received a promotion to assistant front office manager. Or maybe instead of giving you a promotion, your boss just increases your salary. This is called a raise. And when we talk about raises, we usually use the verbs give and get or receive. I'm very happy because my boss just gave me a raise. Or, I'm very happy because I just got a raise. And if your boss doesn't give you a raise, you can ask for a raise. I do a lot of work. I think that I deserve more money. I'm going to ask my boss for a raise. The people who you work with are called your coworkers. Many people learn that coworker is an American word and colleague is a British word, but that is not true. Coworkers and colleagues are not the same. Again, a coworker is someone who you work with. They work at your company. A colleague is someone who works in the same industry or the same field as you, but they don't need to work at your company or work with you. If you work at a school, all of the other people who work at that school with you are your coworkers. Teachers who work at another school are not your coworkers because you do not work with them. However, they are your colleagues because you both work in education. When your employer decides that you are not going to work for them anymore, we call that losing your job. Our family doesn't have a lot of money right now because my husband lost his job recently. If you lose your job because you did something bad, we use the verb fire. His boss caught him stealing money and fired him. Or, he got fired when his boss caught him stealing money. But if you lose your job because your company doesn't need you anymore, or doesn't have enough money to continue paying you, we use the phrasal verb lay off. Unfortunately, the company lost a lot of money and had to lay off half of its employees. Many hotel employees were laid off in the first year of the pandemic. And sometimes you decide to leave your employer. In that situation, we often use the verb leave. After 3 years at that company, I left for a new company. In informal speech, we often use the verb quit. I quit my job last week. And when speaking more formally, we often use the verb resign. We were shocked when our manager suddenly resigned. And sometimes you leave a company because you are old and don't want to work anymore. Or you have a lot of money and you don't need to work anymore. For this, we use the verb retire. After working there for 30 years, she finally retired at the age of 70. Both of my parents retired earlier this year. And when we talk about a person who has retired, we can also use the adjective retired. For example, he doesn't work anymore. He is retired. So yeah, that's all for today. Please feel free to let me know if you have any questions. And if this is your first time watching one of my videos, I usually make about 3 to 5 new English learning videos each week. So if you're interested in improving your English, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications. Thank you for watching.